Hey everyone, I'm back with another little video for you here. I know I haven't been making a lot of videos of late, but been busy with work, a lot of things. So, one movie I'm looking forward to seeing soon is the Disney animated film Elemental. I've read a lot of good reviews about it so far, and some mixed reviews, which is odd, but it has almost an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. Doesn't have an audience score yet, so I'll have to wait and see on that. But I am still going to see it because the film itself looks genuinely very good. And it's an original film. It's not an unnecessary, pointless sequel or remake like we've been seeing a lot. And it looks a lot better than Strange World. I didn't think Strange World wasn't terrible, but it wasn't their best either. It was kind of boring. Had a few good parts, but it was pretty blah for the most part. Lightyear, I have not seen. I heard it was very bad, so I'll have to check that out. Well, almost a year and I haven't seen it yet, so it tells you I'm not that interested. But anyway, we'll cut to the chase. But when I was at Stop and Shop a week or so ago, I saw Elemental, the novel. So, being interested in seeing the film, I got it, and I just finished it up a little bit ago. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was not expecting to enjoy the story this much. And that's not hyperbole. I mean, just from the novel alone, this is easily shaping up to be, I think, Pixar's best film of the decade so far. Maybe even one of the best of the 2000s as a whole now, as of the millennium, I guess you could say. And there's just something here that the last Pixar movie I liked was Turning Red, which I thought was good. I know it got some mixed reception, but I thought it was pretty. I know there was some dumb controversy about certain things. I'm not going to go into detail, but I thought it was kind of ridiculous. I didn't think it was all that controversial. But Elemental, this is legit very. This is a very good story, and I'm not lying. I thoroughly enjoyed this story. I mean, the characters here, Ember and Wade, Ember and Wade, the guy here, they're really enjoyable when there are when the scenes with them come up, and there's I don't know. I mean, I know some people have said it's like a Romeo and Juliet type story. A story. Like in the context here, and fire and water can't be together technically, but I think it's written very. It's a. I always say, yeah, you see a lot of times the same story said, but it all depends on execution. And oh, and by the way, I'm gonna. This might be some mild spoiler alerts here, just so you know. So might go into mild spoilers, so just be warned about that. Okay. So, for example, when I was reading here, I got to one part here I really liked. At the beginning, even there's a part here when Ember's parents arrive in they arrive in Element City, and they notice that there's like it says here, the fire couple followed the crowd of earth, water, and fire elements into the immigration hall. They paused to admire a mural that depicted three elements: earth, air, and water coming together to form Element City. Fire was not one of them. I mean, right off the bat, there, I liked how they see that the Element City people of fire aren't. It doesn't seem like they're appreciated, and that's real. That's kind of deep. Figures that they feel they don't belong. That's like a real deep theme, of not belonging. somewhere, that you're not welcomed somewhere. That's a pretty deep and important theme, I think. And I know some people have brought up like it's like Zootopia I've seen, but yes, that did have some of the same plot lines about prejudice, discrimination, and I'll get into more detail here. This does too, but I don't think it's cliched. I wouldn't use the word cliched in any way. Um, but here the it says here, and I really like this part. Next, called the immigration official. The flyer couple hurried forward. Name? Asked the official. The man responded in Furish, the language of Fireland, his words sizzling with excitement. Utri dar I birdie, he said. Fosh I sitter, the woman said. The official didn't understand Furish. He thought for a moment and got an idea. You know what? Let's just go with Bernie and Cinder, said the immigration official, pressing his branched nose onto an ink pad and stamping a document. Welcome to Element City. And that part there really struck me. I mean, how I guess you could equate it to, having a. I'm trying to find the right word to use. Trying to equating that to, you know, making a name more native to the land, but it wasn't really their, I don't know if it's I don't know. I mean, I kind of saw it relating to I personally have heard of people's families that when they arrived from another nation, when they arrived here, their names got what they call Americanized. And that is I don't know if I agree with that fully. It is kind of a crummy thing to, change someone's national I don't know if that's the right word, nationality name or foreign name. I'm trying to find the right words. I don't, I'm trying to find the right words to use here, but you get what I'm saying. And that part really struck me too. I was like, that was a little. I get the official's reasoning, but that was borderline prejudiced maybe for him to just, you know, make their names more suited to his liking. And well, maybe that was the point. Yeah, that was. I mean, right off the bat, even. I mean, that's when you. That really, got me invested right away in the story here. There's other stuff I liked here when I get to it. And then Ember's father, I guess her parents too, open up a shop, and he said, "This shop is the dream of our family, and someday it will all be yours." He tells Ember. Man, I thought that was a cool bit there. And and then we flash forward a little bit, and this part I really liked too. It said, I mean, I kind of like this because working in retail, I've had some difficult customers, and a couple of this actually happened in this scene here. This customer walks in. So her father lets her run the front to take care of this customer. This is Ember talking now. "How can I help you?" she asked with a smile, said Ember. Customer placed the customer placed a metal basket filled with items on the counter, next to a bucket of sparklers. "All this," he said, "and sparklers are buy one, get one free." "That's right," said Ember. "Great, I'll take the free one," said the customer. He grabbed a sparkler out of the bucket and lit it with his finger. Ember laughed nervously. "Oh no, see, you need to buy one to get one free," gently took the sparkler from the customer's grip. Then she blew it out. But I just want the free one, he insisted, taking another sparkler. Sorry, said Ember, plastering on a smile. That's not how this works. She grabbed the sparkler from his hand and blew it out. But the customer is always right, he snapped. Not in this case, said Ember. He took another sparkler. Ember took it away. He grabbed another, and she took it away. Nope, the scene kind of replays a little bit. It's like a back and forth scene here, which is kind of funny, but kind of painfully relatable for those of us that have worked with difficult customers and, in retail. Just give me one for free, demanded the customer. That's not how this works, Ember bellowed. Her flames flickered, turning purple, and then, kaboom, she exploded. By the time the blast cleared, the shopping basket on the counter had melted into a smoky blob. Oh, Bernie, said Bernie, hurrying over. What just happened? And then he goes on to say, what just happened? Why did you lose your temper? I don't know, Ember sputtered. He was pushing, and it just... Calm, said Bernie. Sometimes customers can be tough. Just take a breath and make a connection. Ember nodded. When you can do that and not lose your temper, then you will be ready to take over the shop, said Bernie. Ember forced a smile. She could do this. She would do this. And I really like that because it's showing how Ember, in my opinion, showing how she is, that she's, no pun intended, she's, made of fire. So no pun intended that she's, a hothead, if you want to call her that. And showing that maybe it's due to, her being a, her, I don't know how to, I think that was the, her superpower, if you want to call it that, is, her causing a lot of fire everywhere. And that's like an inner struggle that she has to deal with, which is pretty interesting to deal with. And maybe for many people relatable in a way. And especially, as I said, with the customer service stuff, you can't lose your cool. You have to be professional. And, and people like that might drive you nuts sometimes. So I thought that was a pretty relatable, kind of funny, but painfully relatable part. And then it goes into detail. Kablam. Sorry, said Ember with an embarrassed laugh. Sorry about that. Two fire shop regulars. So like she turns purple and she gets mad. That's kind of funny, I guess. Forgive my daughter, Bernie. Yeah, she burns bright, but sometimes too bright. So they're losing customers, I guess. I like this, though. She put the glass... Sorry, she said. I don't know why that got away from me. She put the glass in her mouth and started chewing. That's kind of a funny visual. She even says, it's just some of these customers get me all grr. I know, just do what we practiced, which is make a connection. And I really like how showing that as the novel goes on, that her dad's kind of, he's getting kind of tired of running the business, but he's not fully ready to give it to her because he doesn't think that she's ready. And this one here with this one, I like you saw a customer eat a log without even paying. You have to pay before you eat. I've seen that happen before. My dad broke this at a fire trial holding up a damaged toy. I've seen that. Make connection, Ember told herself through gritted teeth. Ember was about to blow her top two. It was all too much. Someone also said, "May I mind if I test this kettle? Does this come in large? What's your return policy? Has anyone seen my husband?" Yeah, that's really that's kind of painfully relatable too. Dealing with a lot of when, especially when I worked in retail, dealing with a lot of busy when the stores were busy during holiday season, and you had like tons of orders, tons of big orders, especially. Everyone's trying to talk to everyone. I mean, yeah, it can get pretty hectic. So I thought that was kind of relatable, funny but painful in a way. Then a part when a pipe bursts in the basement, or fire, she had a fiery blast. I guess. Yep. I think so. She went in the basement. She let out a fiery blast. I quote. She goes, "Ah!" As the smoke cleared, pipe began to vibrate, so it burst. And then Wade, him, comes out of the pipe. And he's like, I like his personality. He's like kind of like a real kind of funny, um, very kind of emotional kind of guy. Sensitive, I guess is the right word. Like he's what a happy family, he said, sniffling, looking at a picture, I guess. He pointed at the picture. I love dads. It's your birthday. Okay, that was kind of odd but funny. Oh, because it was in the picture. Oh, okay. Oh, excuse me a sec. Okay, I'm back. I had to take a little phone call there. And Wade says, I have to write you a ticket. This pipe is not up to code. And, oh, almost forgot. There was a little, there's one line here I thought was interesting. Oh, there it is. Something about kind of a pun sitting on your ash. Just kind of funny. That's maybe why the movie's PG. I did see in the rating it said for brief language. That's probably why. It's kind of funny. It was somewhere here. I don't remember the exact page. This is interesting. Kiss me, I'm Firish. That's kind of funny too. But yes, Wade, he's like real like into his job, so he doesn't know her yet. So he kind of just was going through the pipe because he's water, I guess. So he came in when she broke the pipe, which was kind of interesting. Oh, here it is. If you'd ever get off your lazy ash, that's kind of funny. It's corny but kind of funny. And then Ember, like this part, runs into this little Earth. This Earth person? Is that the right name? Called Claude. June Bloom is coming. That's fitting. The movie's coming out this month in June. And you just got to be my date. Because check it out. I'm all grown up. He lifted his arm, revealing a tiny flower that had sprouted in his armpit. He sniffed it, and I smell good. He knelt on the sidewalk and offered it to Ember in a grand gesture. Ember took the flower, poof, burned into a crisp in her hand. Sorry, buddy, she said. Elements don't mix. That's kind of funny. Little boy, little kid flirting with a Wonder Woman, I guess. That's kind of funny. I don't know why, but I know it's a running gag, always been, but that was still funny. Oh, Claude saying, so in Ember, he walked with Ember for a little bit. She said the city wasn't made with fire people in mind. That's kind of, I like that, showing that the city, showing that they weren't, the fact that they never belonged, whoever the city felt like they didn't belong there, which is kind of sucky, if you ask me. Kind of crummy, whatever word you want to use. That they're kind of discriminated against, which I like. I don't like discrimination, but of course. But in here, it's an interesting topic, I should say. Yeah. So then we get to, Wade comes out of the fire, not out of the fire, comes out of the pipe with Ember doubting herself now. The shop is my dad's dream. If I'm the reason it gets shut down, it will kill him. He will never trust me to take over. Oh, why didn't you say that before? He says. So then they have like this little back and forth here. This is kind of funny. Wait, cried Ember. He told me about your dad and letting him down quickly. I guess this is his boss here. No, that's personal, she said. Wayne leaned backwards for hot flames. It really got to me. He might feel it too. He started to tell the story himself. Her dad will be super. Nope, Ember tried to cover his mouth. But Wade kept talking. Super. Nope, said Ember again. She searched for something to stuff into Wade's mouth. So then she picks up a nameplate and puts it in him. It's kind of funny. So then she said, stop talking. And her dad finds the pipe burst. The water guy saw you chase outside. Did you, asked her. And she said, did he do this? Yeah, he did. Ember fibbed. That's going to come back later. Why is there water in the pipe? The city shut it down years ago. There should be no water. That's interesting. You're at the beginning here. Oh, I can't believe I almost forgot. Even with the discrimination stuff, they were they tried to buy houses. Ember's family were trying to buy houses, but they were denied. I guess because of fear. People had fear that their house that they'd burn the house down, which is understandable, but it is pretty crummy. Voters say flames set the owner's dry, leafy hair on fire. He quickly closed the door, accidentally, but yeah. Cinder pushed a buzzer, which instantly caught fire. She blew it out before the owner, a water element, opened the door. When she saw the fire couple and the smoldering doorbell, they slammed the door shut. Homeowners turned them away. Then Bernie spotted a shabby building. I mean, yeah, even that's kind of like just showing like kind of the discrimination aspect that they were denied, the prejudice aspect, the fact that they were denied homes because people had fear that they would destroy them. It seems. I mean, I guess I can understand why they would think that. I guess, but I'm not saying that that's not. It doesn't really make it right in a way. But yeah, that was an interesting scene. So then they watch a game like this part, and then they're watching a game, an arena, and Wade tries to high five Ember, but then realizes that that he'd get burned if he did. So he just I saw this even on the trailer on TV. He just goes with his own hand, like both his hands just go like that, which is kind of funny. I hit his here. But when he tried to high five Ember, she raised an eyebrow. Fire and water were a danger to each other. What awful things might happen if they touched? Oh, Wade said, lowering his arm. He reached over and gave himself an awkward high five with his other hand. Smack. And I like this part. The friend Gale, which is a cloud element they have. Friend of theirs, it seems. Says, you're lucky you're a cute couple. Ember's cheeks burned. Oh, we're not, she said quickly. So I wonder if I'm going to see that animated of her blushing maybe, because it says Ember's cheeks burned. So I wonder if we're going to see like more of like her like face here. I wonder if we're going to see it get red, which would be kind of funny. Speaking of funny, then Wade got Ember a hat. He put it on her head and it burned up instantly. Pretty funny. And then this part here, which was when I read this, I was like, it's like, geez, that's harsh. That's pretty messed up. So there's this tree called the Vivisteria. I guess it's like an exhibit. She said, I was so excited, but they said our fire was too dangerous and they wouldn't let us in. Ember remembered how furious Bernie had been. And he says, I can't pronounce this. I mean, I'm just going to try to read it. Tost Shosh Puke Tibo Tis Kubu Ko Shosh. I probably butchered that, sorry, but try my best. Yeah. He said, it translates to, how dare you keep us out? Shame on you. And then the guard says this back, which I was like, that's I was like, geez, that got harsh pretty quick. The guard said, go back to Fireland, which I was like, that's that's a that's a messed up that's messed up, man. Although Zootopia did have a similar line when a pig says to the leopard, I think it was, he tells her to go back to the savannah. No, wait a second. No. I'm sorry. No, I got it mixed up. He tells the leopard, go back to the forest, predator. That's the exact quote. And then she says back, I'm from the savannah. And that was a pretty jarring line to hear when I first saw it. I was like, oof. I mean, you get the implication of a line like that, which, I mean, it's not forced though. It doesn't come off like out of nowhere, which it's incorporated, I think, well in the story, and it gets the point across. And then she says, everyone in line had laughed. My dad was so angry and embarrassed. The building flooded a few years later. I missed my one chance to see a Vivisteria. And that comes in later, too. When she turned toward Wade, she was surprised to see tears in his eyes. And that was a touching moment. He must have been so scared, he said. I was, Ember said softly. Then she shook off the uncomfortable memory.